Hello, I am Undead Matt, and welcome to my macabre movie mania. Tonight, we're going back to the 80s well of horror movies, and we're finding somewhere that's between pleasure and pain. Today, I bring you Hellraiser. Hellraiser is based on the Clive Barker novel, The Hellbound Heart. Mr. Barker was unimpressed with previous attempts to bring his novels to the big screen, so this time he decided to do it himself. So not only did he write the book the movie's based on, but he wrote the screenplay and directed it. Now he doesn't have an excuse to hate the movie version of his book. Hellraiser was filmed in 9 weeks in London, in a house that still exists in Dollis Hill, London. Initially, Hellraiser was given an X rating, as most horror movies in the 80s got. So of course, like most horror movies, it had to be cut way down to get an R rating for theatrical release. And in September 10th, 1987, we were given Clive Barker's Hellraiser. Hellraiser follows the exploits of a magical puzzle box. When solved, opens a portal to another dimension where pain and pleasure are one and the same. Oh my! The film opens on a man named Frank buying the puzzle box from a man in Morocco, trying to find the ultimate pleasure in his pain. He summons what's known as the Xenobites, the residents of this other dimension. Of course, the most famous being Pinhead.
Have such sights to show you.
He is a handsome fellow, don't you think? Of course, when the Xenobites show up, they tear Frank apart, as you do. We skip to later down the line when Frank's brother Larry and his wife Julia move into the house. While moving, Larry cuts his hand on a nail, and the blood that spills on the floor is enough to begin the reanimation of Frank.
So stupid.
It is shown through flashbacks that Larry's wife, Julia, actually had an affair with Frank. And Julia finds the not fully animated version of Frank. And Frank talks her into bringing men back to the house to murder so he can survive on their blood and get reanimated and escape the Xenobite torture, leading to many scenes of Julia going out on the town and seducing men, bringing them back and murdering them with a hammer.
Please!
Eventually, Kirsty, Larry's daughter from another marriage, catches Julia and Frank in the act, and uses the puzzle box to escape. She later then unwillingly unleashes the Xenobites and makes a deal with them in exchange for her soul to get Frank's.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Are you making fun of my voice? We'll tear your soul apart. That's how you sound. Jerk.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Kirsty then leads the Cenobites back to the house, and they take Frank back to the grave. Kirsty then closes the puzzle box, banishing the Cenobites back to their own dimension. And then she burns the box to make sure they could never return. But wait! Leaving it open for many sequels to come. Hellraiser made $14 million on a $1 million budget, but like most horror movies of the 80s, was panned by critics, although the magazine Melody Maker said it was one of the best horror movies ever to be shot in Britain. But of course, the fans loved it and made Pinhead one of the classic horror icons, putting up there with Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers. Hellraiser is a great use of practical effects and body gore.
On the floor, it brought me back.
Back? From where?
Just help me, will you? Please, God, help me!
It has some horrific, torturous moments that are amazingly done with practical effects. Although Pinhead is seen up there with the famous slashers, he himself is not a slasher, and this is not your average slasher film, if you even consider it a slasher film. Pinhead does not actually kill anyone in the first movie. The Xenobites more work in the background and as a punishment to the wicked. This movie still holds up to it today. It has some amazing graphics and a dark, creepy atmosphere. Since Hellraiser was a fan favorite, of course led to many, many sequels, including Hellbound, Hell on Earth, Bloodline, Inferno, Hellseeker, Deader, Hellworld, Revelations, Judgment, Hellraiser vs. Archie, Pinhead in the Hood, To Hell, To Razor, Hellraiser Beginnings, Hellraiser Endings, Hellraiser Middlings, and of course, my personal favorite, Hellraiser, The Legend of Curly's Gold. And of course, like most iconic 80s horror movies, the idea of a remake began to be kicked around a bit. The initial idea came in 2006, with no movement for many years. Then in 2013, Clive Barker was brought back to pen the remake script. And in 2017, in an interview, Clive Barker said the studio had his script and no movement has gone on. And of course, with the release of Hellraiser Judgment in 2018, I think that means the remake is in development hell. So if you enjoy a classic 80s horror movie with some great gore and a creepy atmosphere and a supernatural affect, you will enjoy Hellraiser. It is one of my personal favorites, and it's something you should definitely enjoy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm late for my 7:30 nipple clamping. Oh my.
Thanks for watching another episode of Macabre Movie Mania. What'd you think of Hellraiser? What's your favorite Hellraiser sequel? Let me know in those comments below, and make sure you hit those thumbs up or the Cenobites are going to come after you. And remember, I vote on my next episodes of Macabre Movie Mania, so make sure you follow me at wizard_Matt on Twitter to make sure you get your voice heard. And while you're at it, check out one of these two videos. They are very awesome. Thank you again for watching.